Yep, it's episode 426 of your favourite marketing podcast. And today, it's just you and me. Let's go. Before we do get stuck into episode 426 of the award-winning Small Business Big Marketing Show, the Marketing Gold is made exclusively possible thanks to the American Express Platinum Business Card. Now, I went through some of the membership benefits last week. Let me just remind you of them. With the American Express Platinum Business Card, you get 120,000 membership reward points for joining. That's like a Qantas flight from Sydney to Hong Kong, return in business class. Love that. The card opens doors to 1,200 airport lounges. You get a guaranteed late 4 p.m. checkout at some pretty fine hotels and establishments around this wonderful world. No preset spending limit, up to 55 days to pay, complimentary travel insurance, an Australian Financial Review subscription, that's valued at $628 per annum. And that's just some of the benefits of this wonderful American Express Business Platinum Card. Check it out by searching Amex Platinum Life. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, you're a motivated business owner. And you are ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Big show today. Listener Jeremy asks me how to get his helpful content found online. I'll sort him out. Another listener wins big in the Monster Prize draw. I share a mindset hack that I hope gets you all hot and bothered. And this week's advertising jingle will have you coughing and spluttering. As per usual, team, there is marketing G.O.L.D dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Where do we start? I reckon with this email from listener Jeremy Francis Lawson. Wow, he's filled out the name field with his first name, his middle name, and his surname. Very formal, Jeremy, but I like that. He says, "Hey, Timbo Reid." He even calls me with my second name. "I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan of the show. I get inspired every time I listen to it, which is quite regularly at the moment, as I'm currently driving tractors for 12 hours a day in a place called Nil. Luckily, it has auto steer because I'm often busy jotting down fantastic marketing tips." I love that. So you're in a paddock out of the way back of nowhere on a tractor for 12 hours, Jeremy, taking notes on auto steer. Well, there's a wonderful, wonderful picture. Send me a photo. "I am not a small business owner yet. However, I have been sitting on an idea for the last 2 years, ever since I was lucky enough to stumble across your podcast back in 2015. Along with my partner, I have finally started to take the plunge and incorporated my own company. Well done. That's always an exciting moment. And we are working on a web design at the moment to begin trading later this year. As I will be working in the tourism industry, I like the idea of a video marketing strategy, but I think it may take quite a long time before I get plenty of people noticing my videos. Therefore, my question is, what's the best way to get people to notice your videos on social media and other platforms?" Great question, Jeremy, and the advice I'm going to give you applies to any content marketing that you may create. So the first thing I would suggest is great content beats everything, right? It's like the best marketing is a great product. So great content is going to get noticed, okay? So focus a lot on making sure your content's great. Now, what does that mean? It's an incredibly scary creative challenge for some to create great content. Make it helpful. Dare I say, make it engaging. Make it entertaining. Just make it so that people will want to watch it. Don't make it too long. We have short attention spans, although, having said that, I'm a bit of a hypocrite saying that because my podcasts go for 30, 40, sometimes 60 plus minutes. But I think something needs to go, great content needs to go as long as it needs to and not a second more. If you find yourself jabbering on, then it's time to get out of there. Clearly, I don't get out of there enough. But great content beats everything. Another thing, Jeremy, is complete all the metadata. When you upload a video to YouTube give you a lot of fields to create. Make sure you include keywords that are relevant to the video and have a good headline, good description, links in the body copy, taking people back to your website, all that kind of stuff. It's metadata. There's lots of info online about it. YouTube have some great tutorials as well. An engaging holding slide. So that's that little slide that sits at the top of your video on YouTube that has a huge influence as to whether people click and play your video or not. Okay, so if you don't choose a holding slide or create one, then YouTube will do it automatically, and often it's just a weird shot. I mean, they just randomly grab a still frame from within the video. So an engaging holding slide is a good one. And what that means is a good image with a headline relevant, giving me reason to watch that video. Share it constantly. Share all your videos constantly. Once you've uploaded, don't let them just sit there. Share them out via Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just get it out there and ask others to do the same. Have a bit of a reciprocal relationship with other business owners, sharing your videos, liking your videos, commenting on your videos, and ask them to do the same. And finally, Jeremy, I would encourage consistency. I see far too many business owners head off on this content marketing strategy, whether it be video or podcasts or blogs or whatever it may be, and they get 2 or 3 up and then they just lose interest because they're not getting any attention or any likes. It took me years to become an overnight success with this podcast, and it's often the case with so many things that we do. Lean in. Don't look at the scoreboard. Focus on creating great content. Share it, and they will come.
Come on down. It's Timbo's Monster Prize Draw.
Yes, indeedly doodly, it is time to reward a motivated listener for taking action in the Monster Prize Draw. So all you got to do is send me an email, tim@timreid.com.au, telling me one idea you've implemented from listening to this show and what impact it's had on that beautiful business of yours. If I read it on air, you'll receive a prize or 3 and go into the draw to win a hot lap in a racing Porsche with past guest and racing car legend Steve Richards, and that's valued at $2,500. Today's winner is StephenCrichton.com. Now, what has he got to say? He says, "Hey, Timbo, I hope you're well." I am, thank you, Stephen. Exceedingly well after the last few weeks. I would just like to say a huge thank you for your podcast. You and your guests have inspired me and taught me more than I could ever imagine and outline in just one letter. It is almost impossible to pick just one thing I've learned from your show that has impacted me. Anyway, here's a few. Number 1, I've almost escaped the cubicle. Love it. I was working a 9-to-5 job in the city that I actually liked, but I wasn't really passionate about it. And I didn't see my kids all that much during the week due to the long hours. So last year I quit. I now work part-time locally, bills still need to be paid, and have started chasing the dream I've had for as long as I can remember, becoming a professional artist. I spend every afternoon with my kids, I draw every night, and I'm really, really happy. What a great outcome that is alone. I've just finished a book, Stephen and others, called The Big Leap. And Stephen, you talking about a job that you love, that you didn't mind it. You had this corporate job in the city that you didn't mind, but it wasn't completely setting you on fire. And The Big Leap is all about that. It talks about the fact that we live in 4 quadrants, and they're basically zones. Our zone of incompetence, where we're pretty hopeless. Our zone of competence, where we get by. Our zone of excellence, where we make a good living doing what we're doing, and we don't mind it, but it's not setting us on fire. And then the big leap is into your zone of genius. And that's where time becomes irrelevant. We love what we do. We bounce out of bed in the morning. And it feels like, Stephen, you've just made the big leap into your zone of genius. Let's read on. I have purchased my own name as a domain address. So that's stephencrichton.com, Crichton, Stephen with a PH. I've created a website in WordPress, which I heard about on your show. I haven't waited. I'm not waiting until all the ducks are lining up. Something you said regularly, coupled with Michelle Bridges talking about JFDI. These two concepts alone have helped me be productive and not to procrastinate. Oh, good on you, man. Procrastination, what an evil thing that is. Don't be afraid to fail and the imposter syndrome, Stephen goes on to talk about. I'm in the process of putting some lesson plans together with the hope of starting some drawing classes soon. It scares the crap out of me thinking about doing this, as I know there are better and more qualified artists out there than me. But I have had people ask if I do this, and I love the idea. You know, that imposter syndrome and that scaredness to fail, it just can hold us back from so many things. And take comfort in the fact, and go and Google imposter syndrome Hollywood actors, for example. There are actors out there, people in the public eye, who can't believe the success they've had, who still think there are people better at what they do than them, and that they'll get found out one day. I've suffered from it. I know a lot of people who have suffered from it, and it's an evil. So the only way to break through it is to take action, and that's exactly what Stephen's done. Finally, Stephen says seeding is another idea he's learnt from this show. If you're reading this, then you have received your picture, Timbo. Consider yourself seeded. Now, Stephen sent me a drawing completely out of the blue of my dog, Mr. Charlie Bucket, his name is, and it is the most beautiful rendition of my beautiful dog that I've ever seen. I haven't seen that many. I've actually seen 3 other people that have tried to draw Charlie. Stephen, you have nailed it. It was beautiful, brought a tear to my eye, and it sits on my daughter's wall as we speak. Honestly, though, seeding or not, this is my gift to you as a way of showing my appreciation and gratitude for what you have done with the Small Business Big Marketing podcast. You are changing lives, Timbo. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Hey, Stephen, thank you, buddy, in so many ways for sharing those ideas, for giving me the wonderful drawing of Charlie. It's wonderful. In return, you have won yourself an Amex Lounge Pass valued at $33, a Carmen's gift box valued at $60, and a backlink on smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, which is priceless. Stephen, thank you. Everyone else, if you'd like to send me an idea that you've implemented in your business that you've learned from the show, you too can win. Email me, tim@timreid.com.au. Righto, I have got a note from Sam Paxinos, who says, "G'day, Tim. I have recently bit the bullet and commenced a marketing role in corporate Australia." Oh, very good, Sam. Corporate Australia, that's the place I escaped from many years ago. After running my online business for 3 years while getting through uni. In my travel commute, I stumbled upon your show and absolutely love what you're doing. My goals in life are to achieve my 2 pillars of freedom and positive influence. I believe the best way to have a crack at this is by blogging and podcasting, as you are doing so well. Thank you, Sam. After months of deliberation, I am starting this tonight as my 10-year plan to help others gain personal and financial freedom. I have no idea where this will take me, but I hope it'll end up similar to the stuff that you do. Not asking for any advice yet. I just wanted to let you know I love your work, and you give me hope that my goals are achievable. Keep up the good work, Sam. Now, Sam, you raise a thing here about having a crack at blogging and podcasting, and I just want to raise an idea in everyone who's listening's mind, because I believe a marketing mindset is critical in achieving great success from marketing. And here's a little marketing mindset hack that might help you with your blogging and podcasting. As a small business owner, we can create our own media platforms. Now, get your head around this. This is amazing. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we had to go and lease space on a radio station, get a 30-second ad, or space in a local newspaper or a billboard, and we were limited by the amount of space we could afford to buy, right? So people like Rupert Murdoch became really, really rich because back then advertising was one of the main options of getting noticed. But now we can create our own media platforms as small business owners. I've got my own podcast. And that is a media platform from which I can promote and help and talk and share. And I think it's incredible. So you think about the other platforms. Blogging is a great media platform from which to promote yourself and your business and build a brand. There's a great episode I did with a family from Ytravel. That's the letter Y, travel.com. They've created an amazing media platform out of blogging and are now travelling the world off the back of that. I've created a podcast. Melissa Maker, who was I've had Melissa on 2 or 3 times. She was a house cleaner in Toronto, started a YouTube channel sharing all her cleaning tips, and now is an absolute celebrity across Canada when it comes to cleaning tips. What about social media? That's another media platform that you can build as part of your marketing strategy. Stephanie and Laura, the Instagrammers that we interviewed a few weeks ago. Great example of how they've built an entire business or number of businesses off social media. And then there's, of course, self-publishing is another media platform. Sharon Witt, who we had on the show a few weeks ago, talking about teenage girl resilience as her niche. She's written 12 books on the topic. She blogs about it. And as a result, she was a teacher at a high school. She's gone from 5 days to 2. And by the fact that she's built a media platform for her business, she is rocking it. So a little mindset hack, get your head around that and go and think about what media platform you can create for that beautiful business of yours. Righto, it's time for the advertising jingle of the week, one of my favourite segments, I must say. This one dates all the way back to 1974. Stars comedy legend Paul Hogan, Hogs, or if you're overseas, you'll know him better as Crocodile Dundee. And it's promoting, you guessed it, a good old pack of Winnie Reds. That's what we used to call them, Winnie Reds. Geez, they were tough on the throat. Better known as Winfield cigarettes. The ad is set on the stage of a beautiful old theatre in which Hogs, dressed in a dinner suit, enters from the side and sits down in front of a large 50-piece orchestra.
G'day. I've been asked to talk to you, see, and being the suave, sophisticated man about town, I thought I'd do the job with a bit of, polish, a touch of class. So I'll get the boys back here to set the scene with a bit of the old mood music. When you're ready, Boris. Anyhow, what I got here is a new brand of cigarettes, Winfield. Have a good look at them. Now, you might say nothing extraordinary about that. Well, I got news for you. And if you're a smoker, it'll be the best bit of news you've had in 10 years or more. These new Winfields are 40 cents. That's about the price you should be paying for a good smoke. But have a go at the length of them. This would have to be the best cigarette value in Australia today. No risk. And it's not just the extra length. It's a good tobacco. Mild, quality all the way. Well, how good's that for 40 cents? Anyhow, just to give these new Winfields a bit of a welcome, I'll hand you back to Boris and the boys in the band. Let her rip, Boris, all done. Anyhow, have a Winfield.
I love that ad. And just 40 cents a pack. Goodness me. You'd have 5 or 6 packs a day, wouldn't you? I don't know how much cigarettes are these days. I think they might be like $30 a pack, 40 cents a pack. Anyway, what a great ad. You can watch the whole ad, and I would encourage you to do so over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/426. Well, that almost wraps up episode 426 of the Small Business Big Marketing Show. If you are new around these parts, then you'll find my entire back catalogue over at, with over 400 interviews over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Plus, you get a transcription of each for free. I'd love to hear from you. Go over to the contact section of my website and send me an email or connect with me on social media. Big thanks to American Express Business Platinum Card for sponsoring this episode. Search Amex Platinum Life if you'd like to find out all about that very, very nice card. If you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, then let another business owner know about it by grabbing their phone and downloading it for them. Do that 5 times a week and I'll love you forever. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.